Hello, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. Oh, look at all these papers. They're everywhere. I really need to get my papers organized here. Organization is important even in language skills. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to read a passage and answer comprehension questions, find words with similar meaning from the text, and visualize the text while reading and learn to find the words related to the text. When you are given a text to read, there's so many processes that can take place. For example, you will read the title and predict the information in the text. While reading, you will skim and scan for information. There are also contextual clues in the text, and you can use the clues to find out the meaning of some of the difficult words without using a dictionary. Isn't that exciting? Let's watch this video together.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, how can I help you?
Excuse me, I think I'm lost. I need to go to the museum. I have some information which I gathered from my reading, but I still can't find the museum. Could you please show me the way to this museum?
May I know which museum are you referring to? It's already noon. You need to get there early because museums usually close at 5 p.m.
I'm not so sure about that, but I have the description here. It says here that the museum is big, painted in white, and it looks like the building has a bit of the English architecture and Malay carpentry. I would like to get there on foot, but I don't understand how to get there based on these directions. Maybe I'm just very bad with direction. Could you please direct me to the museum? Maybe from New Central?
I see that you have some papers with you. Let me see if I can find some information to help you. Oh dear, there are too many scribblings here. I don't think I can find the directions from your paper. Look, there's a police officer across the street. Let's go and ask him. Maybe he can help you since you need to get there in a jiffy.
That's a great idea.
What do you think about the scene just now? Do you feel sorry for the tourist? I do. Let's analyze the situation. The tourist was unable to explain to the seller where she wanted to go. Although she had some information about the museum, but a lot of the details were missing. In the end, the information was not helpful to the seller, to which left them with only one choice: to go to the police officer to get the directions that she wanted. Now, what did that incident tell us? Yes, you're absolutely right. We need to read and focus on the information in the reading material. Highlight important details in the text, especially if we know the information is important. We can use highlighters such as these, or underline the keywords in the text that you are reading. Let's hope we do not make the same mistake that the tourists made. Have you been to Australia? Before we travel anywhere, we usually do a bit of research about the places that we are just going to visit, just like the tourists earlier too. I'm planning a trip to Australia next month, and I'm planning to visit the infamous desert called the Australian Outback. I'm looking at what I should and should not do there. These are sometimes referred to as the do's and don'ts. Let's look at some of the information I have gathered from my readings. It is important to note that reading is all about understanding a sequence of symbol interpretation. When we read any text, it is crucial that we understand the content to ensure that the information is well received and understood. Today, we are going to use the reading strategies below. 1. Word attack. 2. Skimming and scanning. 3. Visualization. And 4. Evaluate understanding. Let's not waste any more time. Let us read the text together. The Outback is a large, mainly desert area of Australia where very few people live. Temperature can reach 50 degrees in the summer. There are a few things which you need to prepare for the journey to the desert. Here are some do's and don'ts which you must follow. Firstly, take enough water with you. You can survive for many days without food, but not without water. Remember, the heat will make you feel thirsty, so you'll need to drink at least 1.5 liters of water a day. Secondly, always wear a hat and sunscreen lotion to avoid sunburn. The sun is one of the biggest threats in Australia. It is at its hottest between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. Hike only in the mornings and evening. Next, plan your route carefully. Make sure that you have a detailed, up-to-date map which shows you the places that enable you to find food and drink. You should have a GPS receiver to prevent you from getting lost. Always tell someone where you are going, what route you plan to take, and when you expect to arrive. Here are things that you should not do when visiting a desert. Do not worry too much about snakes. There are many different kinds of poisonous snakes in Australia, but there are only 1 or 2 cases of death reported. If you leave the snakes alone, they won't hurt you. While technology helps us in many of our daily activities, it is advisable not to depend on mobile phones when you lose your way. In many remote areas, there will be no signal, so you won't be able to use it. You need to be aware when you swim in deep, muddy water or where you see crocodile warning signs. Crocodiles are dangerous animals and attacks often happen in Australia. Lastly, do not leave the vehicle if you break down in the middle of nowhere. If a plane is searching for you, it's much easier to spot a car than a person from the air. Follow these guidelines to help you explore the wonders of nature in Australia. Let us talk about reading strategies now. The first strategy is known as the word attack strategy. Word attack can help you to decode pronouns and understand unfamiliar words. This strategy can help you understand the meaning of the words piece by piece. How does word attack work? First, we need to look for familiar letter chunks. They may be sounds or symbols, prefixes, suffixes, endings, whole words or root words. Read each chunk by itself. Then blend the chunks together and sound the word. Does the word make sense in the sentence? Now, let's read the paragraph again. Make sure you wear a hat and sunscreen lotion to avoid sunburn every time you go out. The sun is one of the biggest threats in Australia. It is at its hottest between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. So, make sure you hike only in the mornings and the evenings. Let us focus on the word sunburn. Can you find two different words in this word? Well done! Yes, we can separate the word sun and burn and on their own. They carry different meanings. Separately, we think of the two words as a noun and a verb. However, when we combine them together, we get the idea that the word sunburn is a condition where red, painful skin that feels hot to touch. It usually appears within a few hours after the skin overexposed to ultraviolet or UV rays from sunshine or artificial sources such as lamps. When we read the text again, the word sunburn will make sense since we need to wear sunscreen lotion and avoid from getting sunburned while we are out in the desert or the outback. Furthermore, it's already mentioned that the temperatures in the outback can reach up to 50 degrees at night. You see, the word attack strategy will help us to understand the text and the meaning better. The next strategy requires you to skim and scan for keywords. First, we skim the text by reading the text to get an overall idea. This is when you pick out the main ideas or messages. Scanning requires you to look for a particular word or phrase. So, scanning is reading more carefully because you are looking for specific information. You can ignore unnecessary information. Now, let's look at the exercise below. Exercise 1. Read the following text. What are some of the dangers that you can identify? Read very quickly and tell me some of the words that you can associate with danger. Are you ready to share with me your answers? Look at the screen and check your list. Are they the same? Yes, there are heat, sunburn, getting lost, snakes, and crocodiles. Pardon me? Wow, you managed to get all the words? That is great work, boys and girls. Now, let's do another reading exercise. We are going to scan for details. Skimming makes you read very fast, but scanning requires you to read carefully, so take your time this time around. You need to look for specific information that the questions require. These are the questions. What is it more important to have with you in Australian Outback? A. Food. B. Water. Do you have the answer? Let's check. The answer is B. Water. Look at paragraph 2. The screen has highlighted the answer for you. Firstly, take enough water with you. You can survive for many days without food, but not without water. Remember, the heat will make you feel thirsty, so you'll need to drink at least 1.5 liters of water every day. By scanning, you can focus only on the correct answer. Remember, skimming is reading very quickly to get an overall idea of a text. Scanning is reading slowly because you need to look for specific information. The next reading strategy is called visualize. From the word visual, you will get a hint that you will use mental images associate the words with information like the features of characters, the setting of a place, and colors. Visualizing an image while reading a text makes you remember better too. Let's take the word desert as an example. The images that we may have in our minds will be the large, huge, empty area with only sand beneath our feet, the heat around us, and animals like camels and rattlesnakes, because our previous knowledge about desert and words in the text sent us those images. Crocodiles are also threats to Australians in the deserts. How is that possible? Do you have the answer? We may want to confirm that information. Let's watch this video. Go to this link and find out if there are crocodiles in the outback of Australia. Let's look at the video together. Well, Now that you have watched the video, it does make sense why Australian Outback has crocodiles and many other kinds of animals. That's the beauty about reading. The more you read, the more knowledge you will discover. Evaluating your understanding is the final thought on what you have learned throughout the text, and it involves encouraging the reader to form opinions, make judgments, and develop ideas from reading. I think I am ready and prepared now for my trip to the Australian Outback. I hope that it is as exciting as the write-up in the article. We have now reached the last segment of the reading strategy, and I have a question for you. Compare a remote area of your country with the Australian Outback. What advice would you give a visitor? Consider these details. 1. Clothes. 2. Equipment. 3. Transport. And 4. Wild animals. You can do this with a friend. I will give you some time to brainstorm and search for the information you need. Use the compare and contrast map to help you. Here, I have a sample of the I Think map for this practice. Look at the screen. Do you have the information? The following are the information that I managed to get from my quick research. Shall we read together? In the Australian Outback, the weather is really hot during the midday and it is very cold at night. Thus, it's better for you to wear thin layered white cotton clothes to avoid absorbing heat and prepare some jackets so that you can wear them at night. As for equipment, carry a GPS receiver, a printed map, and a water bottle. Secondly, as for transportation, the sandy terrain combined with extreme heat and a lack of resources means you need a special type of vehicle. Large tires will roll easily over difficult terrain, and when you're inside the vehicle, night vision cameras can help to navigate your surroundings in darkness since the desert is really huge and is pitch black at night. The wild animals in desert include snakes, crocodiles, or other kinds of animal that could survive in heat. Malaysia is a tropical country, hence many types of materials are suitable for our weather. However, the equipment for the jungle trekking activity must include a stout straight-edge knife and raincoat since there are thick bushes and trees in Malaysia. We need to protect ourselves from the wild animals and the rain in Malaysia. The rainforests are wide and it makes it challenging for any vehicle to enter. Thus, explorers usually walk on foot. In some extremes area, we may require four-wheel drive vehicles to access. Lastly, the wild animals that we could find include the Himalayan tigers, elephants, wild boars, poisonous snakes, and many more. We need to be cautious all the time. Show me your I Think map. Not bad at all. Look at the screen. Compare I Think map with mine. Include the information that you might have missed in your I Think map. If you have all the information, congratulations, you're a star. I have some pointers that I would like to share with you today. They can come in handy when you prepare yourself for your reading exercises. These are common errors you should avoid. Common error. Example 1. Saying the wrong word. Example 2. Skipping a line of text. During a reading activity, you sometimes struggle with the meaning of the text and end up making mistakes with accuracy. The second error usually occurs when students are asked to replace the words in the text with words which are foreign to them. This can cause a lot of confusions, especially if the words do not fit the context of the text. Next, removing words from a reading text can also cause a confusion to the reader because it can change the message in the original text. Hence, read your reading material carefully. Do not substitute the difficult words just because you don't understand them. Put in some effort to know the meaning of the words. After all, isn't that a reason for learning? Do not remove the difficult words. It can alter the meaning of text and you could lose valuable information. Instead, you should apply the reading strategies to understand the text that you are reading. Can you spot the error? We went to the theater to watch the latest superhero movie and it was really amazing. There is one error here. We know that a theater is different from a cinema, so the word cinema should be used and not the word theater. Another example here is the challenge to copy the text below. What have we learned from today's lesson? In order to understand a text better, we need to practice reading by using the 1. Use word attack the strategies. 2. Skim and scan to locate the keywords. 3. Visualization. And 4. Evaluate understanding. Before I leave, try and read this. Can you read this text? Would you like to read it out loud for me? If you are finding it difficult to read, then you are right. It is difficult to read, but you might be able to fix this problem based on your previous reading exercises and you remember how the words are supposed to look like, right? Are you able to get the message behind this mysterious text? Let's give it a shot. I couldn't believe that I could actually understand what I was reading. Using the incredible power of the human mind, according to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and the last letter be in the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but word as a whole. Amazing, huh? Yeah. And I always thought spelling was important. See if your friends can read this too. Remember now, work hard and don't give up. All the best and bye-bye!